Hey Syrians, welcome to your December reading for 2017. I hope you have an amazing holiday season and a really good wrap up to the year 2017. That's been hell of a ride. Whoa. Oh man, I feel like if I took a picture of these cards, hold on, let me see if I can show you like this. Like the cards that came out, if I were to purposely pick the good and auspicious cards out of this 78 cards, it would probably look like this. But I just wanted to show you so you know I'm not faking this. This is your spread. Shit is about to get real in a good way. So the sun is the first card that just popped itself out of the whole deck. It just flew out of the whole deck. And under the sun, you have the moon. So it's like you have the sun and the moon right positioned right relative to each other. And when that kind of stuff happens, it's like an integration of two polarities. But this is also like the integration of the dreamer and the dreamed. And having this really clarified perception. Because the sun is obviously the source of light, and the moon, while I can go on and on about the esoteric and the cosmic aspects of the moon in relation to the earth and what it really means for the earth, it's almost like you could see the dark side of the moon, the one that never faces the earth, because it's integrated with the sun. And when you think about the sun and the moon, it's like the moonlight is a reflection of the sun, right? But as you integrate these two together, it's like you have the entire picture, the reflector and the source of light, the mirror and the source image is integrated. So it's like you're a lucid dreamer that's awakened in the dream. And that is also accompanied by, well, first of all, the chariot in the center of the reading, which is relative to this reading, I see this as there's the white one and there's the black one, and the light and the shadow, and it's kind of the similar integration of the sun and the moon. It's like you have full control, not control. Control is not the ideal word to describe this. You have the entire capacity of will to direct which way to go and how to kind of manage these two polarities in order to create something new, weave a new dimension. And then these are also accompanied by the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, which is like maximum fulfillment both in emotional and material realms. Whatever you're doing, this is so miraculous. Then you have the Three of Cups, which is celebration and harmony of Trinity. So I remember when I posted that video with abundance of three synchronicities, somebody commented and said it's an integration of the past, present, and future, and I really like that analogy. So it is a sense of timelessness, but also a harmony of the mind, body, and soul. And also, this manifests as like an external harmony with relationships and some sort of celebration. And this isn't just about the holiday season, this is much more than that. And it could possibly have a lot to do with your life purpose and career. So, this is the Eight of Pentacles, and this is you being completely content and advancing in your life purpose and career. It's like you're finally breaking out of this notion that you have to do things on your own. It's almost like you've employed the universal forces to do all the hard work for you. Once had this notion that you had to carry all this burden and work really hard to make things happen, but paired with that clarifying card was the Empress, which is confidence and this sort of like authority figure who is resourceful and can attract all the right synchronicities and just rest in their knowing of worthiness. So to me, it feels like you've learned to harness the forces of the dualistic paradigm and become the master of your own destiny. I'm kind of like struck by the intensity of this reading and how powerful you are as a being. You and I. Wow. So on the bottom of the clarifying deck is the World, and at the end of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune, and that's also paired with the Wheel of Fortune in the other deck. This is like so intense. Such an intense, like I think so much is happening in December, but I feel like you could probably sense these energies right now. And perhaps you're not the most aware of it because the sun, when it comes up, when it came up, the initial message that I got was you have so many blessings in your life right now that it's not even funny. You have so many blessings. And if you don't feel like everything is already complete to the max, like you're just going to keep watching all these blessings unfold, but you should have all the emotional satisfaction right now. Maybe the material manifestation of that full completeness is coming towards the latter of the month, but you should be feeling this emotional contentment in the beginning. And if you don't see it, it's because it's because first of all, you're in a dualistic paradigm. You're working through it. Of course, yes, most of us operate on a fifth dimensional realm for the most part, but then we still are slowly integrating the third density and third dimensional aspects of ourselves that are still remnants. And we're moving through that still, right? So there are times that you still are looking at the dark side of reality, and in that third density consciousness, it's a very linear and tunnel vision. You know, you don't see the higher self perspective when you're navigating through those remnant paradigms. So there could be times where you're not fully aware that you already have this and this equals this anyway. Like it's the same thing. But sometimes you forget. But that's not an issue, man. Like I can't even say anything negative about you as a person or a being, or I can't really suggest or give you any type of advice because you've got this down. Like there's nothing you need to do. There's no suggestions I need to make for you. And if you probably, as you check out other star signs on this channel and see different messages coming up for you, that's because this is part of your paradigm, but as I said, you're still in a dualistic narrative, and sometimes you fall into other directions and perceptions of seeing. But you do have moments and lots of critical mass moments in your life where you have this completely down. And sometimes you go into perceiving life reality in a different way. But as long as you have this in some sort of level, it's gonna eventually just bleed into every other paradigms you have going on, because this is light. This is like literally light, and light penetrates dark. There's this just one card that signals you holding on to something. So I wanted to find out what that was, but it didn't feel like anything bad, because right on top is the Chariot, and right next to it is the Wheel of Fortune. And Wheel of Fortune is sort of like a forward, like a universal movement towards the next paradigm. It's not something like the macrocosmic movement. And then Chariot is also forward momentum. So I don't think this is anything that's going to stay in your life. It's just that little remnant, as I said, of you holding on to your identity. But that is completely fine. Like, that is part of your experience. But this is going to go away. I'm just telling you. Because the clarifier cards that I pulled was death. So you feeling like you need to hold on to something, or you're some sort of identity or a way of being, or even memories are becoming irrelevant, and it's going to die off. And then you're going to gain this new perspective of having a fresh start every moment, and having a fresh paradigm with like this sense of youthfulness and trust. Couldn't be any more signaling towards the end of this ego perspective, because it's paired with death, Wheel of Fortune, and Chariot. And anybody who knows some meaning of tarot cards know that these all signal to the same thing. And I just can't believe that this is happening. This entire spread is just like, I have lots of good readings, obviously, but this is like something else. Just the way in which they position themselves out of this. And there's this work aspect, this service to the world that you're going to bring into your life. Just the way that you perform this service is going to be magnified in some way, and it's going to put you in a place where you're like literally very abundant. And I don't know if you perceive any obstacles in this coming about, but part of what you're shedding away from is the notion that there is no way out, and that you could be stuck in any place. That's an ego construct, that you could be stuck anywhere, because like, come on, we're energy bodies. Like, how can we be stuck? That's just an illusion, right? But I don't know what else I could say about this. It all just seems so perfect to me. Is there anything else you want me to say? No, there's nothing else I want to say. I feel like I've said all I want to say with the spread. I'm going to read you oracle cards, but I just want to show you once again the spread, so you can just soak in all these energies. Look at this. Look at this. Like, ugh. Look at this. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, the card that got stuck on my table is the Eight of Wands, so it is just telling me to tell you this is going to happen just so fast. And it's a good thing that you're grounded and you have this meditative awareness that you probably have if you're tuning into this channel. And then it also shows me the Eight of Cups, which is leaving something behind. So this is definitely going to bring about some sort of environmental change, or like paradigm shift, or even just perception, the way of perceiving stuff, some sort of It could be a dimension, environment, but it's also, I think, has a lot to do with your work. You got 3 8s right now. 8, 8, 8. And 8 is an auspicious number. And also, I think, check out, pay attention to December 8th, because this is a December reading and 8 is magnifying itself a lot. So I think on December 8th, something is gonna happen. Not happen, but reach a critical point where things become much more tangible. There's gonna be some sort of forces at work. Okay, anything else I should mention? No. Congratulations, buddy. I'm so happy to bring you this message and also be acquainted with your energy. And also be a part of this energy. It's just a blessing. Pow. But also, if you're of course not purely Sirian, but you also are a mix of different star races, check those videos out and see which ones you resonate with. But again, I want to repeat myself in saying, if this makes up a part of your paradigm, that's a blessing. Like, it's gonna bleed into every other reading, because you know, the most dominant force, every other energy will harmonize with that frequency, the most dominant. And this is going to be dominant, man. This is like synchronicity of light and love to the max, especially light, which has a lot to do with the wisdom you have within you and this like reflective truth that you see about the world is like literally manifesting itself to abundance and fortune beyond imagination. And a random shuffle brings up another 10 of cups. So this is also like harmonious in relationships and family, and I think you're just like you're probably going to be just as shocked as I am right now reading this reading. When all of these things fall together, you're going to probably find yourself being like, holy fuck, I am blessed. I mean, I think we all know that we're blessed, but then when things actually start to materialize and as the universe magnifies itself over and over, gets exponential, and we shake ourselves out of this dualistic paradigm and we start to perceive the whole, it gets more and more and more surprising at how blessed we are as fractals of creation and creator in motion. So thank you, and I hope you feel this blessing. The oracle cards that I'm going to pull for you is from the Enchanted Map. And Archangel Michael. I think one thing I want to suggest is for you to just make a list, maybe three things. 3 sounds good, or maybe 8, because 8 was so synchronous, and why not 8, of the most unfathomable miracle that you can possibly conjure that can happen this month. So make a list, list down 8 miracles that if they came about immediately, like right now in this now moment, be like, just, it would just leave you in this awe feeling, like marveling about the universe. So make a list of that, and then just like don't even think about it. That's it. It's like, you know, just even as an exercise of stretching your imagination of what's possible is really beneficial for you as a creator and creatorship. Okay. Wow. It's so relevant to what I just said because it says use your imagination and you'll see the answer. So this stretching of imagination to the things that can possibly happen in your life that would be just miraculous. Imagination is a language of higher dimensions. So it's real. It's as real as it gets. But I guess your purpose, part of your purpose in navigating through these dualistic paradigms is to learn to channel those imaginations and bring it forth what your higher dimensions can't really do, which is bring it to a physical form realm. And you know, when it's physical, it's much more dense, but at the same time, when you can channel light onto the denser realms, it's like something else. It's like crystalline. It's like it's the kind of illusion of permanence that we can create with these light forms because we have battled through the denser realities of having polarity. When we channel pure light, it's like unbelievable. I know that other higher realms are unbelievable, but you know what I mean? It's just something about materializing purity and absolute divinity and light and love into the polaric polaric field despite all the dualities. It's much more marvelous than when it manifests on the etheric realm. Positive thoughts create positive results. The situation is already resolved. Prayer will help the situation. So I think that this frequency that the miracle list is going to bring about will create, if not the exact solutions that you've conjured up, the situations of the same frequency, which can't be any better or worse than what your mind thought. So using your imagination in this way is inevitably going to bring about these results. But then it's also about knowing that it's already that you already have, like when you feel those frequencies, that you already have that. So one thing that I'm also getting is when you are experiencing alternate paradigms than this spread that you've seen, you have other DNA sequences, right? Probably. And so when you fall into other perspectives and paradigms that don't feel exactly like these frequencies, then when you use your imagination to fall into this frequency that feels like the 10 of cups and feels like the sun, then you immediately have that resolution to that perception, and eventually that will crystallize into situations. But it's like you don't need to have that situation in front of your eyes anymore, because you do realize that those frequencies are actually the fruit of the labor, so to speak. Wow. So this is telling me, this is like the different side of that spread, which tells me um when in midst of chaos and goblins, which is like, it's like a card of egoic structures and I guess etheric parasites, etheric implants. And when this sort of thing goes down, you can always make a choice. And when you are self aware, and that's why meditation is so important, because it's that 0 point field wherein you can start to be aware of your own state of mind and own state of emotions. Sorry. Own state of emotions. So when you notice that there's these darker frequencies happening, you can always make a decision to use your imagination to fall back into this absolute divine frequencies of yourself. And it's not really about rejecting these states of being and rejecting the shadow, but just using that, being efficient with it. Yeah, it's great to have this contrast, but when you're efficient and you can immediately shift yourself out of it and learn what you have to learn, then that's just as valid as being suffering. Like, suffering is so romanticized in humanity, whether through like negative alien influences, they just like romanticize about suffering, and fear and people who've suffered and had it rough. But you can just be efficient with that now. Like, we no longer need to live in that paradigm of needing to suffer any more than necessary, than to just sharply contrast the blessings that we are. Okay, the last card that I'm going to show you is a new one. So I picked this up for you, my subs, and this is a very, very like multi-dimensional deck that is reflective of celestial energies. It's from Lightstar, and I'm probably going to use this like all the time because it's very suitable for starseeds and they'll resonate with it a lot. Like the images and the messages and the image, like the frequencies of the cards themselves are activators, like with light language and symbols. So it will help you with your navigation through this reality. The card you received is Wisdom. So here's the image. I want there to be no glare. Oh, it's hard. There you go. It's hard. Okay. So this signals like a very open soul star chakra where you are receiving information constantly from your celestial guides, higher selves. And this is what you're grounding onto this earth. And I think part of the whole blessing comes from that you have this universal wisdom portal within your being now. And that frequency that you channel can bring nothing less than this miraculous reality. You know, as you serve others with this, you also serve yourself in the highest way. And that's the blessing of service to other beings. So, looks like you have the most amazing month ahead of you. Keep in touch with me and let me know how you resonate with this, or what kind of blessings, or if you want to share with me the miracles that you listed. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. See you later.